Imagine waking up and the first thing you feel isn't the warmth of your blanket, but the weight of 1,000 voices before your eyes. Even fully open, your hand reaches for the phone. The screen glows with a harsh blue light, and suddenly you're not in your bedroom anymore. You're in a digital coliseum where everyone is screaming for your attention. Headlines tell you the world is ending. Notifications tell you that you're late to a conversation you never even wanted to have. And opinions from people you've never met start layering themselves over your own thoughts. This is the modern shout. It used to be that the world whispered, but now it demands that you listen to everything all at once. The most dangerous thing about this noise isn't how loud it is, but how easily it enters you. Noise no longer lives only on the outside. It has learned to take residence in your mind, fragmenting your focus and tightening your chest. You might notice your heart speeding up for no reason, or a sense of urgency that doesn't match your actual surroundings. This noise teaches you to live in reaction rather than intention. It makes you mistake constant stimulation for actual meaning in this world. Staying calm is no longer just a personality trait. It is a discipline and a form of quiet strength. Inner stillness is not the absence of sound. It is the ability to remain unshaken while the sound exists. It is the capacity to hold your center when everything around you is trying to pull you outward. The ancient Stoics understood this long before modern life amplified our distractions. They observed that suffering does not come from events themselves, but from the judgments we attach to them. The world has always been unpredictable, but only now has it become relentless. What has changed is not life itself, but the number of voices competing for control of your attention. Every alert trains your nervous system to stay on edge. Every comparison teaches your mind that it is falling behind. And every opinion invites you into a conflict you did not choose. Over time, calm begins to feel foreign, as if peace is something you must earn rather than something you naturally possess. But calm is not given, it is protected. Stillness begins the moment you realize that not everything deserves a life end. Response. Most things do not require your emotional energy, your mental effort, or your inner peace. The loud world thrives on your reaction, and calm is what starves it. Stoicism teaches a simple but radical truth. You control far less than you think, and far more than you realize. You cannot control the news cycle, other people's opinions, or the speed of the world, but you can control how deeply they enter you. This is where inner stillness is born. It happens when you pause before reacting, when you breathe before responding, and when you choose observation over impulse. Calm is not passive, it is selective attention. The loud world equates speed with intelligence, but stillness reveals that wisdom moves slowly. Clarity does not rush, and truth does not shout. It waits. Consider how much of your tension comes from anticipation rather than reality. The mind leaps forward, replaying conversations and predicting outcomes while preparing for dangers that never arrive. Noise fuels this mental sprint, but stillness slows the mind back into the present moment, where most of life is actually manageable in the present. Your breath still flows and your body still functions. Your world is often far less threatening than your thoughts make it out to be. This is why silence feels uncomfortable at first. It removes the familiar chaos and exposes the habits of the mind. It reveals how often you reach for distraction, not because you need it, but because you fear what might surface without it. Stillness does not eliminate discomfort. It teaches you how to sit with it. The Stoics practiced voluntary discomfort, not to punish themselves, but to reduce their fear by choosing moments of quiet and restraint. Strengthen their inner independence. They learned that peace does not depend on external comfort. It depends on internal order. In a loud world, calm becomes misunderstood. It is often mistaken for indifference or detachment. But calm is not a lack of care. It is a refusal to be controlled. You can care deeply without being consumed, and you can engage fully without losing yourself. Inner stillness allows you to respond rather than react. Reaction is fast, emotional, and often regretted, but response is deliberate, grounded, and aligned. The difference between the two is the space you create for yourself, and that space is where your freedom lives. When you stop filling every moment with noise, you begin to notice subtle things again. You feel the rhythm of your breath and the weight of your body. You find a quiet clarity that arrives when the mind is no longer chasing stimulation. Calm sharpens your perception because it does not dull it. A still mind sees more clearly because it is not distracted by everything. It distinguishes what matters from what merely demands attention. It recognizes that urgency is often manufactured and pressure is often optional. The Stoic path is not about withdrawing from life. It is about entering life without surrendering your inner command. To live this way is to become unshakable, not because nothing affects you, but because nothing owns you. In a loud world, the calm person becomes an anchor. Others feel it without knowing why, because calm communicates safety and presence communicates strength. You do not need to explain your peace or defend your pace. You do not need to compete for attention. Stillness does not isolate you, it roots you. The world will continue to shout because that is its nature, but you are not required to answer every call. You are not obligated to participate in every argument or absorb every tragedy. Stoicism reminds us that your time and attention are finite resources. Where you place them shapes your inner life. When you give them away indiscriminately, your peace erodes, but when you guard them, your clarity deepens. This guarding is not selfish, it is survival. Every moment you choose calm over chaos, you strengthen a habit. Every time you pause instead of react, you reclaim control. And every time you sit in silence without reaching for a distraction, you remind yourself that you are capable of being present without stimulation. The loud world profits from your restlessness, but stillness returns your power. Instead of react, you reclaim control. And every time you values surface and priorities realign. The noise fades just enough for truth to speak, and truth is rarely loud. It arrives as a feeling of steadiness, but stillness returns your power. In those quiet moments that you do not need to prove your worth through constant engagement. The Stoics believed that inner tranquility was the highest form of success, not recognition or influence, but peace. Peace that remains intact in chaos and does not depend on outcomes. This is the art of staying calm in a loud world. You don't do it by silencing the world, but by mastering your inner response to it. You don't do it by escaping noise, but by refusing to let it define you. And in that grounded stillness, something remarkable happens. You begin to live deliberately. You begin to choose rather than react, and you begin to hear your own voice again. The noise loses its grip, and what remains is clarity, strength, and a quiet, unshakable peace that no volume can drown out.